What is up, my little pretties? It's your mistress, the Queen of Lions here, and I am back with another episode of Shadows and Pretties. Today we are at episode 86, and the last episode I talked about was Zootopia. Today I decided to do a horse movie that came out in the 90s. Now, this movie I am going to talk about today is called Wild Hearts Can't Be Broken. It is a 1991 American drama film, which for some reason, I can definitely say this right now, that first saw this, I thought this movie came out in the 80s because it just has like an 80s style feel to it. So I guess maybe that could be one thing I'm definitely have to say. But anyways, this is a movie. Now, of course, there is, I think, a book or something, a memoir by Sonora Webster Carver that was published sometime in 1961, which I will kind of talk about that in a little bit. But I am going to sit there and say right now that I am going to, go through this movie. Now, this movie is a really, really well done horse movie. So, the last horse movie I did was Spirit, the Stallion of the Cimarron. This time I'm doing another horse movie, and I saw this movie like years ago as a kid. Wasn't really interested at the time, but now I really like it. It has a really good feel to it. Like, it's a pretty good concept and stuff. I really do like how everything was going. It was fantastic and amazing. So, of course, this starts out with Sonora Webster, who lives with her sister and a not nice aunt, Helen, during the Great Depression. So this took place, I think, sometime in, I guess you could definitely guess, this takes place around 1900s, like the early 1900s, pretty much, where she learns that because of her accidentally letting the cows loose with her suspension from school, her treasured horse Lightning had been sold while she was placed in an orphanage. So instead, she slips out of the house during the night and ends up in the county fair and sees a performance done by Marie, who is a young diving girl who rides a horse off a platform and aspires to do so. So Marie's employer, Doc Carver, tells her that she is too young, but gives her a job as a stable hand due to the ability with horses. So she begins traveling with them. Doc's son, Al, wins a wild horse and in a card game, and Sonora names him Lightning. She later surprises Doc by taming and riding him, so she promises to train her. So he promised to train her to be a diving girl if she can mount while it's moving, which she succeeds after multiple attempts. So Marie's regular horse gets sick, therefore Al decides to use Lightning in the shows, while Sonora warns Marie not to kick him, but she ignores her and causes Lightning to fall off of her and dislocates her shoulder. Unable to perform, Al asks Sonora if she is able to do her stunts. Although she has never dove with Lightning, her first jump is successful, and however Marie becomes jealous as Doc tries of her stunts, although she's never dove with Lightning. So it's pretty, jealous of it, and as Doc is tired of her diva-like behavior, she rather quits rather than share a building with Sonora, and Al develops a romance with her and strains the relationship with Doc. Eventually, then they leave home after their partially had a bad fight, while he promises to write, however, to Sonora, but Doc hides all of his letters as she thinks that he have forgotten her and about her. So, when Doc finds a new stable and hand, Clifford are away from the farm and search for jobs for the show. Lightning falls ill with colic, and Al returns as he and Sonora have to work together to heal Lightning. Doc hasn't found anywhere for them to perform, but Al announces that they arrange a 6-month contract to do so in the Steel Pure at Atlantic City in New Jersey. This reconciles Doc and Al, but their former passes away of a heart attack on the way to Atlantic City, and Al assumes that Doc's role in the show is presenter. So Sonora searches for Doc's jacket to give to Al for confidence on his show. But he finds one of Al's letters in it and confesses his love for her, and she lets him know that she feels the same. So when Al proposes to Sonora just before the performance in front of the biggest crowd, which she accepts, the horse is in a jittery stallion instead of Lightning, and he flatters and then trips on the end of the diving board, shining from the cambalis crashing below. Not expecting it, Sonora has her eyes open, and as they land in the pool, they're both alive, but however, Sonora can't see properly when she hides from Al, not wanting him to stop her from doing shows. She wakes up the next morning and discovers that she is permanently blind from the detached rentes in her both eyes, which she has to learn to find her way around. As Al is always with her step by step to avoid the breach of contact with the lawsuit, he must find another diving girl within a week. So he calls Marie, who returns, while Sonora misses her diving terribly, especially when she must have to stay home and while she knows Al and Marie are cutting performing. But she tells Al the desire to dive with Lightning again, and they work together to try to train her to mount him again. But it proves fruitless, and Al gives up. But she spends some more quiet time with Lightning at night. The next day, Clifford locks Marie in her dressing room, and Sonora performs in her place with Lightning as Al shouts at her to come back down. But she continues, and the jump is successful. However, her voiceover tells you that she continued to dive for 11 more years, with the audience learning of her blindness and her happy marriage to Al. So, that is basically the story of, well, Wild Hearts Can't Be Broken. I really do like how the acting was done in this movie, such as, the good actors. I really do find the story to be rather interesting and well done. I really do like that this, for some reason, when I look at this has got like a 90s, 80s feel to this movie, which I was pretty surprised that this movie, came out in the 90s, because when I first saw this, I thought this came out in the 80s, but it turns out it didn't came out in the 80s. So, I definitely have a lot to say. Like, I really like the acting of this, movie. Like, the acting was flat out amazing, especially with, certain characters in there, which most of them are pretty well done, if you get it. Like, they're pretty well done and really amazing, as a lot of concept was done for the movie. Like, they have a lot of stuff that I really have to say. Like, I really do like how the character, Marie acts like a spoiled brat in that, which she kind of did in the movie, which I could definitely tell. It's still pretty good. Like, when I definitely watched this movie back when I was younger, I wasn't really interested in it, but when I really rewatched the movie, I really do like how it all went out. Like, it has a really good feel to it, which, of course, it is a good concept to what this was. Really do have to say that I really do like how this went out. It's a pretty good concept, really good story. So, upon the film's release, Sonora, Webster, Carver, and sister have watched it together, as Sonora was dissatisfied with the establishments, but it felt that it bore a little bit of resemblance to her life when she told the thing is the only thing true was that I rode diving horses. I went blind and I continued to ride for another 11 years. So, of course, the film did receive, some good criticism and some destructive, which, of course, the film did have mixed reviews when I first saw this. So, it, of course, has a really good concept, about somebody who goes permanently blind. But that could that really shows you that you can actually do certain things. Like, you could actually sit there and, do certain things. Even though if you really don't see them, it's still pretty good. Now, of course, there is this one actor named Sonora Webster Carver, who actually was a horse diver who died, almost at the age of 100 sometime in 2003, and that was many, many years ago. So, like, everything about this when it came to the concept of certain stories, when it came to the whole movie being made, Wild Hearts Can't Be Broken, it has a pretty good story regarding to, what's going on and stuff, and it was based on it. However, we are going to sit there and say that, Sonora's account can be read in her 1961 book, A Girl and Five Brave Horses, which is seen to fictionalize a movie of her life. Now, she was disappointed in the way that the movie depicted her life and career, but she remarked it after the screening of the film that the only thing was true was that I rode diving horses, I went blind, and continued to ride for 11 years. So some of it, most of it, if not most of it, is kind of like inaccurate. So that was actually why, some of the stuff wasn't really, true when it came to the movie. Now, Now, I'm gonna say that maybe this is probably one of the reasons why I, wanted to do a horse movie, in this episode, Shadows and Praise. Like, I know it's been quite a while since I last sat there and did it, so I guess maybe this was the best time for me to talk about this movie. There are other horse movies such as Black Beauty, which I will kind of talk about that maybe in another video. What I really have to say is that it's a really good story based on the true story of of Sonora. However, most of the stuff that was in it that wasn't really accurate. So, of course, it was most likely one of the reasons as to why, certain things weren't really accurate to the movie, to real life. I really do find this movie to be an enjoyable. The director who wrote this actually did a pretty good job of making it seem that it's like a real concept to it. So, when I watched this movie as a kid, like I said, I know I'm kind of repeating myself, but to be honest, I didn't really, care for this movie a whole lot when I was a kid because I don't know, I kind of think I kind of found it boring or something. But when I watched it as, years later, I really do like how this went out. It's amazing. It is a very well done made movie. Especially when it came to, watching this again. I really remember, being a kid, like probably really young. I think I watched this on VHS or something back when I was a kid. And now looking at it as an adult, I still really found this movie to be enjoyable. It's a pretty enjoyable movie. Now, I do know that Disney did make this, which is a pretty impressive, despite the fact that I really did not expect that Disney would sit there and adapt this. Like, I was thinking another movie company like MGM or something, or 20th Century Fox would sit there and do it, which I really have to say I did not even expect that to be the case. Like, I was pretty surprised that Disney would sit there and do that when it came to, this movie. I was surprised that Disney did it. Now, about the Girl with Five Brave Horses book, I have not read the book, so that you probably shouldn't ask me if I read the book, because I already gave you my answer. But if you guys want me to read the book someday, I will consider it maybe someday in the future. Not really sure when though, but I guess I can definitely say, if you really like the horses, and if you like horse divers like, well, Sonora, I highly recommend you check out this movie. And this movie may be the best, and maybe the best one for you to read if you want to take a look at it. So I guess that's all I have to say for this episode of Shadows and Pretties. So what did you guys think about this movie? Did you all enjoy it? Did you not? Also, what we have done personally to help make this movie a lot better? Feel free to let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section down below. I'm the Queen of Lions. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. And if you happen to be brand new here on this channel, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, because I make brand new videos every single day. Don't forget to ring the notification bell to when I upload, so then you guys will not miss an upload. And as always, please roll the outro. Oh, no, wait, second. Crap, why am I saying outro? And as always, I'll see you guys next time. Sorry, I disregard me saying please roll the outro, because there's no outro when it comes to Shadows and Pretties, so I do apologize for that. And as always, I'll see you all next time.